Fall 2024. Soon it will become winter, a time of rain, snow, and months of darkness. It's not all bad, though. We welcome it. It is our favorite time of year for going out into the field to do research and find a scintilla of evidence to support the existence of the Sasquatch, to prove it to us. Many of you are already convinced. Our travels take us to fantastic places, like this area where there are apple orchards and millions of apples are produced. Apples. Certainly among our favorite foods, and if we encountered a Sasquatch and they were intelligent, we would say, "How would you like a nice big apple pie?" Or 5. And bond with them so they know we mean them no harm. We want to prove their existence for us, not necessarily to prove to the world they exist for us. Not exclusively, mind you. Welcome to this edition of Monster of the Woods, where our motto has always been truth over fiction. Are you ready? Let's go! From this vista, you can see part of the Cascade Range, and over yonder, just beyond the 48th parallel, is the USA. There have been many stories of Sasquatch coming from this area. You can find many online, and I mean many. How truthful are those stories? That's the big question always to us. On this quest, there are times you have to take people at their word. When they message us and tell us of their encounter with these mysterious creatures. If they meet us in person, we can often gauge their sincerity. If they message us, still we must take them at their word, depending on how they come across. When someone told us recently they encountered several Sasquatch, their conviction was quite real. Yes, we traveled to that area and spent several hours over a couple days waiting, watching, and filming. We will assume, like us, many of you have met an individual during your lifetime that came off as sincere, with integrity and more honesty on their sleeve. Such is the case of the individual that came to us with an incredible story of his encounter, his sighting of something truly bizarre. It was at this location he observed 5 large figures walking around 300 feet away from him in the distance here. They walked slowly. He was not observed. He stayed very still and watched as one by one these creatures, or things, simply vanished. He said he really felt no fear. It was incredible to see such a thing. He lives a very quiet life. It was the one time he did not bring his dogs. And that is maybe why this event happened to him. Reflecting on it, he believes it was real. But it's hard to understand. Talking to him, we believe he saw something that day. It's an incredible story. We don't know what to make of it. Of course, we wish it would happen to us, but that is wishful thinking. A few days later, in a different location, something very similar happened. with a difference. Two witnesses observed a strange craft that seemed transparent, disc-shaped, and below it, 5 figures, walking slowly. And one by one, they were lifted into the craft. Now that sounds like a tall tale. That is the stuff of fantasy, you might be thinking. And we can't vouch for the reality or the truth of a story. We do know when we meet with people, they say, this is a strange area. The most unusual thing is the lack of connection between the two witnesses. From the man in the wilderness that saw the 5 figures slowly vanish, to the couple that saw the UFO with 5 figures below it being transported up into the craft. They weren't clear on details. I suppose they were in shock, if it indeed happened at all. And what defines a strange area that people tell us, I went to a strange area, or things happen in this location and that location? What defines that? I suppose it depends on the perception of the individual, how susceptible they are to things they've never seen before and misinterpret, or genuine occurrences of the paranormal. We don't necessarily subscribe to ghosts, goblins. We do subscribe to the possibility of extraterrestrial visitations, as our cameras have captured things we could not explain. And as children, we saw something truly remarkable. That's a story for another time. Here, like so many other locations, it's beautiful. We take it all in, and nothing unusual happened, or happens, 99% of the time. Our cameras are at the ready. We pine for that experience. Well, maybe that's a stretch, but we welcome it. We welcome you to tell us where you've had an experience as well. We know some people are pulling our leg. It doesn't affect us. We understand human behavior and why people need the attention. It's all about the adventure. All about the adventure. Friends, we could spend a lifetime or two out here and find nothing. The vastness of this place is somewhat overwhelming. The magnificence is real. The mystery continues. What have we to show for it? A lot of beautiful images. As I've said time and time again, we are not discouraged. We are driven. Driven by a mystery that some claim as their own. Who would not want to have an experience, at least people in our position? The greatest mystery of the wilderness in this province that is British Columbia is certainly the Sasquatch. People see them. How many people come forward? How many people are telling the truth? How many people are seeing things that are misidentified as a Sasquatch? Many questions and few answers. Which brings us to this. You might want to go out there, but are you prepared? Do you understand what you're getting yourself into? Do you know bushcrafting, wilderness survival? All these components will keep you safe. If you're going out there, please think about it and tell someone where you are going, when you will return. Understand, the forest is safe, relatively speaking. Do not become a statistic and depend on search and rescue to find you. By the way, please support your local search and rescue. It's all about being prepared and understanding. And if you're out there and you see something suspicious like poachers, Do not approach them. Call the authorities post haste. We would like to thank the Indigenous people of this land for their guidance and their support in this production. Until next time, remember, eyes open, cameras ready, over and out.